Hello, active traders, and welcome to Trading Open. I am beyond thrilled. Donald Trump won, so we're not going to have a financial transaction tax, which would have killed active trading as we know it. So things are headed in the right direction here on a bright and sunny November 9th, 2016. Boom, we won. Against all odds. Americans are smart enough to see through all the media bias. By the way, I was telling my wife this. Do you know why who can tell me why were the polls so wrong? And I'm a former statistician. Sampling error is the issue, but why were the polls so wrong? Why were all the presidential polls so incorrect? It's because who do you think has time to sit around with their thumb up their butt taking polls? Broke, unemployed, unproductive people who sit around and they'll answer their phone because they're sitting home drinking beer and smoking pot and don't have a job. Those people take polls. Those of us who actually work for a living don't have time to take polls. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I never even answer the phone unless I have a scheduled call or I can see from caller ID who it is. So those of us who are hardworking, thoughtful people generally don't participate in the polls. So sampling error. They were sampling the wrong people. I mean, yeah, if you're broke and eating Twinkies and ding-dongs with your welfare check in front of cable TV and Obamacare and all that, then yeah, maybe you got time to take a poll and tell people who you want to keep in office. But for those of us who actually work for a living, we don't have time to take polls. So that's why that was so wrong. Muhaha. Flawless. Presidential victory. Best day of the year. As always, all information is for educational use only. I'm not making advice about to buy, sell, hold, buy, this. You're not to make actual trades. No profitability or performance claims are being made. No live real money trading's done. This is all a safe learning environment, gang. Let's take a look at what's hot, what's not, and how to trade it. If the markets, and that's true too, think about it. Who has time to take presidential polls with phone calls at 10 in the morning? Well, that would be people at home, unemployed, who are broke, which would be largely Democratic constituents. So I'm pleasantly surprised. I thought the law of large poor numbers would have beat us and we'd have all the poor people outvote those of us who actually work for a living. But that was not the case. So I'm beyond thrilled. Again, I don't mean to offend any Hillary supporters, but muhaha. Let's get back to work. Let's get jobs back to America with manufacturing and put better trade agreements in place so we don't run a huge deficit with China anymore, and we get, domestic manufacturing and get some jobs here to give people the pride of workmanship too. That's one of Deming's. Wow, good call, Karen. LABU. Paching. Let's see if it keeps running on up today. We're gonna have to stick this way up at 38.8. Keep an eye on that one. That's a hot stock. Who else is good in bios? Clovis. Clovis historically has been one of the good ones. I'll put that up even though the gap isn't impressing me. It is a gap, so we'll see if it, well, tell me if it takes out 29 later, but let's see who's running today. Let's run through our charts. Hertz is a nice bullish cut breakout. We flipped to the short and the long, so nailed that one yesterday. We'll see if we get a breakout over the 28 later today. Hertz is good. Wouldn't surprise me if we saw a big move in CAR2. That's not as good a chart though, so we'll leave that alone. Alcoa, really nice move up, as is U.S. Steel. Precious metals, or not precious, I guess, steel and aluminum, but metals are up. So U.S. Steel X is long. Alcoa, aluminum, is long too. Those are two good long metal plays, along with GDX, the gold miners. GDX and Barrick are both up because the stock market's down, so gold is up as usual with that inverse relationship. Another move up is MXL. It had a big run up yesterday. Looks like it's pulling back to the midpoint here. Let me demote that to an inside because right now it dropped to inside the previous day's range. It had been up at the high, but now it's an inside chart. So we'll drop the long trigger to 20.8 and the short to 19.7. That one's starting to show some weakness. On our gappers today, we've got really good volatility. This is the perfect time to be day trading, by the way. Probably the best time in 4 years to day trade because we got market movement. So anyway, MYL, a nice gap continuation, 37 to 39, 2 points, bullish cup breakout continuation. This is the same exact pattern that's in this month's issue of Stocks and Commodities magazine that I said was my favorite pattern, with the minor gap, bull cup continuation. So that's a really good chart. MYL looks hot. I'm going to have to push that up. That's a choice chart. That's a perfect gap continuation runner. Memorize that pattern. That's the single best pattern for professional day trading. I preferred if the gap was a little smaller, to be honest. Like right here, maybe right over the 38 whole number. So if it gapped to 38.6, pulled down to 38, then recovered and then started to run up, that would be even better. But still, this is really good. So we'll see if MYL gets some heat today. On the gap downside, we got First Solar. Not so hot anymore, are you? Muhaha. I'm just completely surprised. One candidate is blanking bricks right now. Really? Just saying WTF. All over, heard around the Clinton camp. WTF. How did we lose? Ha ha ha. I'm just thrilled. Anyway, 30.2 short trigger likely if it hits. We'll see if it continues down. Unlikely bounce up at 31.8. More likely to go short bias. And that Momo also a nice mover to the downside. And I got a minor gap down here. It had a big sell-off day yesterday, 29 to 24. That's a good choice chart to pay attention to. First long on a bounce would be 24.5 up here. First short would be 22.20, which would be more likely to hit. And we'll see if Momo continues the madness on down to new lows. VXX, nice gap up. We'll see. I'm long this and my swing to long-term swing / position trading to play the market sell-off. We'll see if it takes out new highs. 35.40 up here. The long, I'll likely tighten that in. Actually, let's go ahead and do that. I want to expand the focus in the room on the, especially inverse ETFs. If the market drops over the next few weeks, if we get the bubble pops and the market starts to plummet down, these inverses will gap and continue and run. So we want to be on top of those. On the flip side, XIV is exact mirror image, right? It's gapping down and starting to get some buying pressure. I got a 36.6 long there. We'll put a secondary long up at 37.30. But it's good. If you are a day trader, you are thrilled today, right? Because we're not going to have that stupid financial transaction tax. It's like Democrats didn't see if it moves, tax it, right? Anyway, in our accounts move and they wanted to tax us to death. And so thank goodness that's not a threat anymore. So that's good to see. 25.8. I'm even going to approach the Trump camp and see after all the excitement dies down, and maybe after I get back from Vegas, if I can interview Donald. I'm sure he's really busy the next couple of weeks, but toward the end of the year, the holidays, I'll see if I can do a quick interview with Trump and can not only congratulate him but ask about future direction and all that kind of good stuff. So I like interviewing famous people. It's nice to have a platform to do that on. LABU, Schwang, 38.50 immediate half point resistance. We got a long trigger 38.8. That makes sense. Short trigger way down here at 36.30. That doesn't make as much sense. A better short would be way up here near 37.50 if it rolls over and goes down. So I'm just concerned it may hit that prematurely here pre-market. But for now, I'll go ahead and put that in as a bookmark, 37.50. 36.30 is also likely good, but for now we'll put it at 37.50. So if it stalls here at the whole number and drops, the short is there. If it continues on up, 38.8. But that's the best gapper. So thanks a lot, Karen. Another winner. So you guys are rock stars. I appreciate y'all learning with me. It's good to have smart eyes and ears on the market. That's good. I got an email from this guy, Joe, saying ditto. In response to my why this is great for traders. Well, that's good. I'm a big fan of inclusion and legal immigration. I immigrated my wife from Japan the right way, and that's good. It's fine to have a measured input of people who are here legitimately, which is a good thing. So I'm a big fan of legal immigration, but not so much terrorists crossing our borders. So. And decent people trying to cross the borders, I understand, I get it, but I'm more worried about the terrorists from Syria trying to get in here and then blowing us up all over city by city. That's the big fear, and I think that's also a good reason why the Border Patrol agents endorsed Trump, because the wall is a-coming. I'm just thrilled. I try not to be political because I realize today may be a sad day for some of you who wanted to not trade anymore and wanted a Democratic president in who would tax the bejesus out of us and not make it possible for us to trade. But for those of you who are traders, which are all of you, right? you should be properly thrilled. So anyway, my health care doubled under Obama the last year and a half or two, so I'm glad to see it. I'm not going to have to spend a fortune on that anymore. Vive la différence. We got 2 minutes till the bell, gang. Let's see where things head. For our Trading Open live room experience, we got some great charts, and always appreciate great participation from y'all. It's neat to see. And thanks, Karen, for those other ones too. Let's see what we got. Tabit, TBT. Yeah, that's good. I'll throw that in the swing list. That's worth taking a shot at, say 37.10 or so, right over the 37. Katie, yeah, that was the one I was thinking of. Yeah, thanks. That's other pharmaceuticals. Good volatile instrument. Yeah, I'll throw that on the radar. Yeah, Acadia, the Clovis was a newcomer. Acadia is one we've been following for a long time, and I remember that one. Used to be one we'd follow. And PBYI, okay, let's take a look. Not so much. Maybe if it takes out new highs later. From an odds-based standpoint, some of the best charts, if I were to pick the three best, it would be Hertz, LABU, and Momo. Those have the biggest ranges and the highest volatility, right? Those are the ones that have the biggest movements. So we'll see which way things head. Markets open in just a minute, folks. We've got a bounce in the QMI. Let me get this. It had been selling down. It's starting to bounce. The market started to do a little bit of a pivot. Not highly volatile right now, but it had been, right? 34 to 50. Wow, it's a 20-point range on the QMI. That's huge. You're in the right place. Let's stay on top of these things. Keep an eye on these best moving charts out there, right? We want to see these gappers like MYL, an especially nice gap continuation play up at 40. Let's tighten in the triggers. Let's do 46. 40.8. You want to be on top of this if it spikes over the 40.5. Anyway, here we go, folks. Market's about to open in. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ding, 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 ding. The day after the presidential election, we'll see where things head. Our best charts out there: Momo, LABU. Again, remember, the short if it gets under 37.50, long over 38.8, put up another trigger at 39.30 if it continues the madness. Right, from Jose saying Dab State Media in Hollywood has no right to tell us how we should think or vote. Yeah, I'm glad. Despite all the BS media crap out there, people still voted their minds and intelligently, which is shocking because usually people are kind of like sheep and they follow what the media tells them to do. I'm glad that was not the case. That's a nice shot across the bow for the media too, as you guys aren't all powerful. So ha ha ha, we actually think. We're not brainwashed. Anyway, let's see if LABU continues to run on up to new highs. That's a great call. Starting to break there. We'll see where it heads. Coming up next, Momo starting to get a lift here. 24.5 is within reach. We'll see if we have the votes for that. 24.50, 24.80. It's headed up. Now this is a good example of what I mean by a big green candle. All right, that's a signal candle. Institutional buyers covered their shorts and it started to pop. Short squeeze. We're not in yet. We got a 24.5 long, right, which cleverly sidesteps this reversal. So if it does a 50% drop and chop, fine, we stay out. If it gets over 24.5, that would be the first place to consider a long. And notice how I set that ahead of time in a way that cleverly sidestepped that. It took many years to learn that skill, to avoid false breakouts and in on the continuations. That's one of the most valuable things you'll learn from me. First of all is what's worth trading with really tight stops and how to play these things the right way. First Solar, if anyone got a piece of that, 31.8's in the money. Our first win of the day I would sell it all now and take profit. That would be a quick nibble. Let's sell it because it filled the gap, almost filled the gap over the 32 whole number. Let's sell it all now, take profit. And experienced traders only flip to short at 31.6. So if it drops, we get out. Let's see who else is running. Acadia is starting to run for us. Let's do a 29.30 on that one. A dime over the HOD, the high day. Short trigger on a loss of the half point at 28.40. So we go long in this one. If it continues its madness up here, and if it chops and drops from here, and this is it, stick a fork in it, it drops, the short trigger is down here at 28.40 under this congestion region. So that's, I'm going to stay clear of these three candles basically. So 28.40 the short, more likely to get buyers up over the 29.30. We'll see if it continues on up to new highs up there. This is the most intense time of the day to get right. LABU. Fly, be free. Remember Mork and Mindy? He'd throw up a raw egg. Fly, be free. Splat. Sell it all, gang. Take profit. Thanks to Karen. A big booyah to Karen, one of our traders. You nailed it. You called it back here. Ka-ching. I told you guys long at 38.8 right there. Sorry, right here. I said long again at 39.30. I see no compelling reason to hold into a red candle reversal. Take the money and run, baby. That's it. Boom. Just like the election. We win. Vote for us. Ha, ha, ha. And we got out before it starts to drop, right? Got you guys in at 38.8 right there. And again, 39.30. Good, no BS, honest. Actually works most of the time alerts. Called the exit near the 40. Good time to take profit and be done, right? Good professional day trading calls. That's it. Game over. For now, at least. Let's see who else we got running. XIV is trying to do a little pop here. 36.6 in the money. Again, it ran up well over 40 cents. So sell half now. Trail a stop at break even on the rest. Look how good these calls are. 37.30, just out of reach of the reversal, right? Next long if it gets over 37.30. But for now, sell it all. Take profit. That's what we do around here. You're in the right place for professional day trading at Trading the Open for the stocks and ETFs that actually run. Like Momo. It's getting some Momo. It's getting its mojo. 24.5 long. Not there yet, but headed that way. 24.8 the next long. Let's tighten in the short, eh? Let's do right under the 24. 23.8 is going to be your first short. So if it loses its 24 support, I think it'll keep running. But if it doesn't, I've been wrong before. We go short at 23.8. We go long if it gets over 24.5. Either way, we're on top of it. Let's see LABU. Exit call near the 40. Perfect. Risky play on a short at 38.20. If it drops, it may find support here near 39, near this pullback region, 39, maybe 38.50. So I wouldn't go short yet. The first short at 38.20 if it does continue. I got you guys in on the breakout and out of what turned out to be near the exact top, near 40.5 or 44, wherever it was. I called exit. So that was a good entry and exit for LABU. And thanks to our trader Karen for mentioning it when it was way back here. You nailed it. Big epic win. That's how you day trade. Let's see what else we got going on here. Acadia dropping. X continues on up. U.S. Steel, as opposed to China Steel, is running on up like a champ. I would just give like $100 to see a photo of Hillary's face. It's like she's saying, WTF? I was just so happy. Anyway, where do we go along, gang? Well, this is worth day trading because of the volatility. So many gappers today. What else do we got going on? Use the same exact process next week when I'm in Vegas, independently on your own as you're practicing, right? Think about, what we can do. Just like I think, like, what would Brian Tracy or what would Tony Robbins do? What would these guys, or what would Trump do? What would people who know what they're talking about do? in their fields. I'm an expert in stock day trading. Practice on your own next week, because again, I'm going to be here for you guys, including Friday, because I'm going to Vegas, for the speaking at the expo next week. So just a reminder, we're not going to be meeting next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll be speaking at the Money Show Traders Expo. But I did a makeup day for you guys last Friday. I'll do another one this Friday and another one the day after Thanksgiving on the 25th. We're likely to see spectacular volatility in the market, so as we are, right? So 25.4 in a continuation. This may well stall and drop here at the whole number, right? So this may do that 50% retracement deal and do a 1, 2, 3 pattern. So for that reason, we got the short trigger set up here at the 20. We'll see if it drops there. First solar kind of up and down. Spider's climbing but pulling back. Depot, Yeah, I'd trade it because it's got, 17.4 days. It's got 3 points of range, so it's tradable. $19.8 the long, $19.2 the short. We'll see which way things head. Oh, thanks, Karen, for that heads up on Freeport. And Rick, too. It's starting to inch its way up. Let's see, the range is not great for day trading. It's okay, but I would do this one as a swing trade at 13.30. So FCX long if it gets over 13.3. That's a great chart, though. It's got the great minor gap continuation pattern. The only thing, my eye is always drawn, as should yours, when you're evaluating a chart for trade potential. Look at that open range breakout length and see question mark, how far is it? And it's only less than a point here, so therefore it's tougher to trade than one, like LABU, which had a run from 35 to 40, right? Which is with the 5-point range. Speaking of which, the short call at 38.20 is now in the money. Cover half, put a cover stop at break even on the rest. We are 3 for 3. 2 breakouts on the long side. We sold right near the 40, flipped to short at 38.20, starting to work out for us. So that's a good way to play both sides of the mountain. Momo, my trigger long, 24.50, just out of reach of the false breakout. Haha. Short trigger 23.8, that's in the money now by 20 cents. So if you took it, good for you. Cover out half now, put a cover stop at break even. Next long if it gets over the 24.50. Next short, let's do 22.4. Move this over a little bit so you can see that. So 22.4, if it gets down here. We're short, but we're looking to cover at the first sign of a pivot, which may occur any second now. New short is if it gets under 22.40. We go long if it gets over 24.50. So we've got one trade-off, which is a winning short. We're looking to cover it at the first sign of a pivot. Seeing some reversals right now, right? LABU nicely in the money. Good call. 80 cents in the money, or 70 cents in the money. Boom. 38.20 was my short call. It's down to 37.4 now. Let's zoom in on that. Let's get an action cam. 38.20 was my short call. We're now down to 37.42 by 4 on the inside, or now 43 by 4 on the inside. Cover half of any open short. Now put a cover stop at 37.60 on any remaining open short. Let me walk you through the perfect exit on this. I anticipate a bounce any second now near the 37. Watch this. That's what I say before I shove all in a kind of an easy to overhear whisper to the dealer. And I always sit in seat 1 or 9, so I'm right next to the dealer, and I always say, watch this, and I'm all in. And then fold, then some moron calls me and I stack them. I felt them with a full boat. Anyway, poker world. Anyway, let's see where things go. Put a cover stop 37.60, which I expect it may bounce. We have a hammer here, so or almost a hammer. We got a bullish lower shadow here, so it's trying to get over the 37.6. I'd go ahead and stick a fork in it. Let's cover out all open short now. When in doubt, get out. So as you guys go short at 38.20, a 70-cent winner, let's cover it out, take the money and run, because we're at a likely whole number support and it's run so far, so it's likely to bounce. You could reuse these triggers for a second shot if it gets back up over 38.8 and it gets back over 39.30 like it did for our first winning pair of breakouts. You can reuse those triggers if it comes back to life, which it may well do. But for now, I'd cover out any open short right now. Even though we don't see any strong bounce sign here, we're at right near a whole number exit target, and so for that reason, I'm out. Cover out any open short right now. That's a good call. So XIV is trying. Our first long earlier was 36.6, and that worked out. How'd you guys get in and out of that? Next long is 37.30. So if it keeps climbing on up, if the markets rally and keep running up like they have been all morning, we'll see if 37.30 hits. Spiders are up 1/3%, so we're up at 0.34. Markets are decidedly long in the New York Stock Exchange. This is the strongest long trend I've seen in over a year. Okay, 0.24 is huge long the New York Stock Exchange. We're kind of weak long in the NASDAQ. It's down at 8.4, but 0.25 is a huge. Anything under 0.5 is significant for a long bias. This is way down at 0.24, so that's huge for the New York Stock Exchange, is extremely long. So how you deploy that as a trader is give preference to the New York instruments over these 4-letter NASDAQ instruments. That Clovis was a runner. Good call from Karen for that one. We didn't post an alert on it, but it ran, so coulda, woulda, shoulda. Your picks are great today. We'll see if it continues the madness. It's like a kind of chop here, but that was a good breakout. It moved up over that 29, so ran all the way to 31. So right about the bios. LABU. I had us cover right here near the 37 because it's likely to rest and bounce. Now might be a good time to go long over a breakout. I would still wait till 38.8. You could take a speculative shot at it somewhere north of 37.50, but personally, I'd be conservative now and wait till 38.80. I trade like I live, with careful boundaries and very conservative approach. Let's see what else we have going on here. It's all about the risk. And keeping that as small as possible by setting the stage for success by trading the strongest charts. 28.4, nailed it. If anyone got that, that's 50 cents in the money on the short. We're on fire. I would cover it all out now, right? Who can tell me why it would be a smart place, especially vital that you guys get this if you got less than 10 years experience day trading. I called the short at 28.4. All right. And thanks again to Karen. Another good, you get our award for the trader of the day. Your calls have been outstanding. 28.4 is my short call. Why would now be a sensible place to cover the short? And Damon got it yesterday. Who else can, the same pattern, who else can tell me? We're pattern day traders. It's what we do. You don't wait for confirmations. You anticipate reversals by knowing the patterns and the nuances of how they actually work. So I called 28.4 short for you guys. That's now, what is it, 70 cents in the money. Again, how are you going to get a 70-cent winner on a $3 stock? For those of you still out there trading with these kids out there who pretend to trade penny stocks and cheap stocks, but don't actually have any tax returns to show suspiciously. Just say no to $3 and $4 stocks. Those are crap. You want things like this that'll run 50 to 70 cents. It's big boy trades, right? We don't have to trade Amazon and Apple. I guess that's big boy trade if you're trading 1,000 shares of a $200 stock or something. But I like these in the 20 to 30. And good call. Yeah, Bob, it's at the ATR is good. Also, it's closed the bearish cup pattern. That's the main reason to cover the short. But yeah, it's at the ATR. The previous days, again, good point. Look at the open range breakout yesterday. It ran the same exact length of run yesterday on its move up and down. The zigzag is this about yay tall. It's about yay tall today. So it's a good time to get out of the short and cover it. And in fact, that kind of pattern is often the best bounce type of play to take. Let's do a 28.20 on a bounce long in Acadia if it bounces. Well, thanks, Rick, about the heads up on Depot. Let's see. Yeah, it is starting to creep up. It tagged our long trigger. I would rebuy if it gets over the 20. Let's do 20.2 if it continues to get buyers. It's slowly starting to move up. It's an insider chart, though. And again, if you got less than a year in the room, just skip any of the inside alerts because those are slower moving than the out alerts like that one, right? It's a much bigger volatile movement. And it's good. I got you guys out of what turned out to be the exact bottom on the short cover, right? Well, within, 20 cents of the exact bottom. That was the cover call right above the 37 because it was reaching that congestion zone at a bearish cup. So it was a good exit call in the shorts from the 38.20 short, cover down to the 37.30 or wherever it was. So good call. Let's see where these folks are headed. XIV skyrockets on to new highs. 36.6 is nicely in the money. Now 37.30, 50 cents in the money. Sell half now, put a stop at 37.80. 0 stops today. Flawless victory. Trade with somebody who can make good calls. I called it long for you guys, XIV at 36.6 on the first breakout back here. That worked out. The next long was up at 37.30, which tagged it right there. Big epic win. We're now at a whole number. If you're a new trader, sell it all now. I know it's still going up, but it's just a matter of time before it reverses back down. So markets are long. The markets are thrilled. Trump won. Boom, flawless. Look at the spiders, up almost a full percentage, up 8.8% so far. But I don't trade that because it's $200 a share. I like XIV because it's 30 a share and you get the same dang chart pattern. Anyway, because we're at the whole number, if you're a new trader, sell it all now. In fact, everybody, sell it all now. Sell, sell, sell. Take the money and run. Because we're at a previous high. We're at a whole number. It ran up nicely in our favor. Good reason to take the money and run. Or maximum, put a stop at 37.80. So if you're an experienced trader, at least sell half. Personally, I'd sell right now. I'd sell it all because target accomplished, right? I got you guys in at 36.6 back here. And then again, up at 37.30 right there. Long 1, long 2, sell it all at the 38. And that's, tie a bow on it, tie a ribbon on it. It's a nice present to put under the tree and we're all finished. Now, do we get pissed off if it runs to 60 without us? Maybe a little, but I'm still happy because we got long, long, and sold for epic, not trifecta. What's the word for two? Just a duo, I guess, right? A pair of winning calls. First long, second long, sell it all into the whole number. It's fine to leave a little on the table. Because we may see the mother of all rallies today, we want to rebuy up at new highs. We have a kind of a stall area here at the whole number, or I should say at the previous day's high, right above the whole number. So we anticipate a possible pullback and congestion, and they're going to argue it out up here. We stay clear. We're all cash now, right? As you guys sell the 38, but if it continues on up, we get long again at 38.8 and again at 39.30. Again, good calls. I'm Ken Calhoun, doing this over 17 years exclusively for you at tradingtheopen.com. Good day. Who else is running? Momo's kind of perched for a breakout. 24.50 is a long call if it gets there. Not there yet. But if it gets over 24.50 and again over 24.80, may be worth a little bounce up here. So keep an eye on that one. MXL starts to run up a bit. My long call of 20.8 worked out. If anyone got that, that's about 23 cents in the money. Beats a kick in the head. So sell half of it now, put a stop at break even on the rest. That's in the money. Take it if you want. I said to go long at 20.8. Now's a good time to sell it because it's already 23 cents in the money and starting to pull back a little. So I want to start tying things up. Now would be a good time to put a break-even stop on Depot. If you got long at 19.8, put a stop at 19.8. Thanks, Rick, for that heads up on that. Hey, Micheline or Micheline. How do I pronounce your name? Is it Micheline or Micheline? A or B? A is Micheline. Because I don't like butchering people's names. For years, I called Steve Nissen because I thought it was Nissen. It's Nissen. I like to get people's names right. And thanks for the heads up on Dust. We'll see what it's doing. Likely started the day down, starting to go up. Yeah, that's a good call. Kind of a gap fill. But because we're at the previous day's high, or I'm sorry, previous day's low. Oh, hey, Ron, okay. Sorry about that. Because our previous day's low, it's likely to reverse course. So the better play on this would be a short on a loss of a 35.20 would be first short, 34.80 would be second short. Whenever you see a gap fill like this, a gap down that fills all the way to the previous day's low, that's resistance, and often it will come right back down again. So for that reason, I like to go for shorts if it's already ran up to the previous day's low. We can get back in if it gets, or get in if it gets up over that. I'd be kind of skeptical. I'd wait till 37.20 for a long, which it might hit, you know, because if it slows down here and then stalls and then continues to run on up, we'll get long here. But here's kind of a danger zone right near 36.50. So I wouldn't be going long here, but we will see if it does reverse course back down or if it continues up. But yeah, good heads up on that one. I'll throw that on the list. Let's go top down through these guys and see where we're at. Hertz, see, that's a good example of something that didn't do anything. Kind of like Hillary. It just kind of ran up yesterday and went sideways. A lot of hot air yesterday, but not so much action today. We'll see if it runs, but we're not going to get in yet. Let's do 27. Let's do over the 27 by a decent margin. This is risky, but a momentum play would be 27.30 on a high. And again, I realize that's right under the previous day's high, so that's a little risky, but we'll use a break-even stop. If it hits 27.30, runs to the 50 or 60, use a break-even exit. If it, say, stalls out here at the 27 and collapses, let's go short at 25.4. We'll tighten in the short too, right under the support. So this is a good example of that pattern that I've taught you in the past. If you remember, we get a large candle day followed by a large candle day followed by a flat candle day. You'll often see that inhale, exhale, you know, like a big candle followed by a flat candle like up here. So it's not doing anything yet, but it may well do something later. So we're ready for it. Alcoa is trying to bounce here a bit. Now that one would have been a stop here, so I'm kind of auditing all these to see how they would have done. So sorry, we would have had a stop. The 26.20 hit, but reverse back to the upside. 27.30 is the long if it takes that out later. MYL, my short call 38.40 never hit, so that's fine, I guess. Here I'd be looking for a pivot long. Let's do a 39.30. That's above the previous support line on that bear cup. So 39.30 is our long up here, short at 38.40 in MYL. First Solar, we got the long free at 31.8. That worked out well. Momo's still kind of quiet and grinding, kind of like Hertz. They had big days yesterday, one up, the other down. They haven't started to run yet, but they may well pick up some momentum later, so keep an eye on those. Next up, VXX, my 33.20 short call, big epic win if anyone took that. Cover it all now, just because, right? Can everybody see why If you had shorted the 33.20 where I said to go short, why now would be a really intelligent time to cover the short at 32.35. The reason is because we're bouncing off of the previous day's low. So that's a perfect exit, right? Tie a bow on it. That's almost a 1-point win. Boom. Another one bites the dust. That would be a good name from a song. Bada-bum, bum. Anyway, cover out the short now. Take the money and run because we ran all the way down to the exact previous day's low and pivoted. So I said to go short at 33.20, cover here at 32.25. So nearly a 1-point win for you guys. Do the math. How much money could you have potentially made had you actually taken that? I'll leave it to your imagination. XIV, I said to go long at 36.6 and again up at 37.30. That was the second long. And again, sell it all now where I said to because we're at the previous day's high, just like the opposite of the short and the other one that dropped down and bounced off previous day's lows. This one is pivoting off the previous day's high, so it's a good time to get out. And another good point. A trader had asked about an online broker yesterday too about not being able to get short fills. Check the short inventory. The short list is what it's called. Call your broker and say, if you're going to short, be sure to compare short lists and shop around. That's why most of us use interactive brokers, because you get instant fills for $1 or $2 a side instead of 5 or 6 a side, and a much better inventory of short shares available to short. That's one thing the brokers don't want to advertise if they've got limited short shares available, but they vary widely. Just like on commissions, you want to go with an institutional grade direct access broker, you know, like a TradeStation, or I like interactive brokers because it's very good instant fills versus you never want to day trade with a browser-based broker. I mean, you can. I did back with Daytech back in the 90s, back in the old days, but no reason to settle for that. It's interactive brokers is the day traders, brokerage of choice. They don't pay me to say that. Don't mention my name when you open an account. I don't care because I'm not an IB for them, introducing brokers. So I'm just a customer like you guys. But use somebody that's inexpensive, like TradeStation is good, or interactive brokers where it's only $1 or $2 per side, and you have a much better short inventory like IB has if you are going to short. Anyway, back to it. So I wanted to mention that to you as a helpful tip, because brokers vary widely on execution speed, spreads, commissions, short inventory. And that's, if you do short, that's one thing I got to check. It's called the short list. Say, can I see your guys' short list? And they're required to post that somewhere. Why do you want to see that? Well, I want to see what's, because I short, I want to see what you guys got available. This thing's likely to bounce GDX. It's headed down. I said to go short at 24.8. That's starting to work out a little, but use a break-even cover stop. If it misbehaves and bounces, cover out at scratch at break-even. Who else do we got going on? Hertz is finally starting to break out, so keep an eye on that. 27.30, looks like we tagged that, started to break out. 28.20 the next long if Hertz continues its move up. LABU did a 20-cent run off the 38.8 to the 39. Remember, when something runs 20 cents, sell half and put a break-even stop on the rest. That's kind of the default setting for anything we do here. See, VXX is starting to bounce. In fact, that's tempting for a bounce play. High risk, experienced traders only, but 32.6 for bounce in VXX if it gets over that. 32.8, you can grind in at the 20-cent increments, 32.6 and 8. The short from 33.20 worked out great. Like I said, we cover near the 32.25, so you'd be all cash now. We banked a nice near 1-point win on the short. Now we flip to long if it climbs back over the 60. Looking to see who else is starting to bounce. VXX likely to bounce here. Like I said, if it gets over 32.6, we flip to long. But I'd be all done for today. We're right after 10 o'clock, and Game over. That one's okay. ENDP. Kind of late in the day. It's after 10 o'clock, but that's restricted, so we couldn't short it even if we wanted. But that would be the inflection point on a short. That's an inside chart, my least favorite type of chart. So if you do trade insiders, make sure they got lots of range as a saving grace. 16.4 would be the play on that, a short if it gets under 16.4. Because it's ran up to the previous day's high and is stalling. So people wisely see, hey, it's a good time to get off the party boat and sell my open long shares to book a profit before the other profiteers come in and sell it back down. If it does keep running on up, good for it. I still expect it to bump its head and argue and struggle up at 17. Whole number resistance if it keeps going up. So for that reason, we're out. We want to wait until it gets over 1720 for a continuation long, or if it drops under 1640 for a, and I would estimate more likely short if it, say, runs up a little here and then stalls and then turns tail and drops back down here and chops. That may be the likely play, so that's the short trigger. But again, good calls. I wanted to do a special shout out to Karen for her heads up on the best chart of the day. LABU, that's our biotech triple leveraged ETF. That one ran up nicely from where she had spotted it near 36. It ran all the way up to just under 41, so near 5 points a run. So well done, Karen. Thanks a lot. And I'll be finished for today. I will stick around and answer questions and see if there's any other plays for you guys. But game over, right? We're going to walk out winners today at Trading Open as usual. We did have a stop, but most of them worked out really well. So do the math on how well you could have potentially done with alerts today. And I'll see you guys in the next session as well.